Hi, I'm Dottie Tronis, Volunteer Coordinator here at Shell Point, and welcome to Volunteer Corner. Today we are at the Shell Point Train Room, home of the Gulf Coast Model Railroad. And our tireless volunteers have been working all summer to make improvements and make additions to the train room for its opening in October. We are open October through May. And we are joined today by a group of volunteers that are going to tell you how they got started volunteering at the train room, what they do, and why they do it. So we're going to start out first with Mike. And Mike, could you give us a little details about what you do at the train room?
I run engines, I clean the tracks, I clean the wheels, and I enjoy all the guests we have that come in, the children, the way they smile and laugh and make noise and want to blow the engines and make the sounds on the engines. So it's one of those activities that you feel that you're encouraging guests and residents to enjoy, and it's an excellent place to visit.
Thanks, Mike. And I guess we should let everyone know that besides being open to Shell Point residents, we entertain visitors and guests. We do tours of groups. This train room is enjoyed by people from all over the world, so not just our Shell Point residents. And our next volunteer is Judy, and Judy has a very special interest in the train room. Judy?
Shortly after I moved to Shell Point, I visited the train room for the very first time. And when I walked in and saw the miniature buildings and the little teeny tiny cars and trains, I said, this is for me. Where do I sign up? I love miniatures. At one time I had 7 doll houses. Seems like a terrible waste of time, but it's a fun hobby. So this was just a perfect fit for me. I also love American history, and there's a lot of history here. And I kind of greet the people, give them an idea of what the layout is, and then I go into a little bit of Florida history, which of course has a great deal to do with the trains. Both Mr. Flagler and Mr. Plant, who really are the founders of the state of Florida. So I love it. My husband works here as well. He works with the children over at what we call the Mountain, which is an area where the children can play with the trains.
Anne, let us know what you do here at the train room.
I am a greeter here at the train station, and I love it, mainly because I get to meet people from all over the place and talk to them. I give them a little spiel of what they're going to see when they come through the doors and tell them a little bit about the history, but most of it I just talk to see where they're coming from, why they're interested, and we have people come back year after year, and it's fun to see them come back in again and bring their guests. So I thoroughly enjoy it and continue to do it until I can't.
We want to let you know that we have quite a few husbands and wives that work at the train room together, and that's an opportunity. If there's anyone out there that really is looking for something that both of you can do together, we're going to let Lynn and Joe tell us a little bit about why they do it.
I hadn't been here more than 6 months when Phyllis asked if I might be interested in working at the train room. I had to give it serious thought to see why I might be interested in working in it, because I had never been to a train room before. And I realized that as a little girl, I had a Lionel set. So I thought, this sounds like a good fit. And it has been very enjoyable. I am a docent. I do take the Panhandle. They divide it up into 3 sections: South Florida, Central Florida, and Panhandle. So I talk about the Panhandle. And what I'm amazed at most is not only are the little children loving this, but the big children are loving it. All the adults that have had trains as a kid, they want to pass it on to their children and grandchildren, and they just are just thrilled with it. So it's a fun time, fun people to work with too. And you'd enjoy it.
And I decided after Lynn was working here that I would come over in the summertime when it was closed and started working on the train, because we refurbish it in the summertime and clean the whole room out, and I enjoyed doing that. And then I decided that I would work along with her, and so it made it a very convenient thing as a couple that we can come over on the same day at the same time, and I'm here as a docent and she is here as a docent, And so we can both give the history of our area in the train layout. Our train layout is in the 50s and 60s, and so it's a lot of fun for the adults that come in that remember the 50s and 60s as to what was going on at that time and the various venues that were available when we were growing up. And it's neat for the little kids to come in to learn what their grandparents went through at that time too. But it's an easy thing to do, it's a fun thing to do. You meet a lot of people, as everyone here has said, and we just have a good time doing it. And couples can do it. You can have a husband work as an engineer, the wife can be a docent, or the wife can be a greeter. So that they can split the duties. They can do it at different times if they want, but it is very convenient when you do it at the same time.
We're going to pass the microphone down to Glenn. And Glenn, tell us what you do here at the train room.
Well, I'm an engineer. I've been here for, I believe it's a year and a half or so. And when I was young, a cousin had a Lionel train set, and I did not. And at Christmas time, we used to go to his house, and that's all I did that whole day. I just ran his train all day long. I really was fascinated by that. And so that's how I guess I became interested in trains. And then when I saw this layout, I couldn't hardly believe what everything is here. And when people come in, like it's been mentioned, they're really amazed at what is here, how big it is, how large it is, and how well it's kept up and maintained. And it brings back memories to a lot of people, I guess, for what they used to have and did with their trains, but not on a big scale like this is here. And so it's just one of those things you enjoy doing, and glad that people get the enjoyment out of it to come here. And like was mentioned before, people come from all over to see this, and that is amazing to me, even that see people from so many different states and even out of the country even. So it's something we enjoy, and glad we can do it.
Thank you, Glenn. We're going to pass the microphone over to Jan, and she is going to tell us her story.
Okay, I've been here about a year, and the train room was the very first place I volunteered because I love little trains. As a kid at home, had 3 brothers that had a train, but I played with it more than they did. I have had 1 lesson as an engineer, and I want a promotion, but I'm being told that I'm more valuable as a docent. So please, we need more docents so I can become an engineer-ette.
While the train room is open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, our volunteers only have a 2.5-hour commitment 1 day a week. So you can still do all your other activities here at Shell Point and become a member of the train room volunteers. Just a reminder that the train room opens on October 2nd. We have had this train room in existence since 1971. Over 40,000 folks have come through our doors, and we are now on TripAdvisor. So we are very highly rated on there, and you can check us out on TripAdvisor. And before we go, just to remind folks that you don't need any train experience, you don't need any technical abilities. You'll be well trained, and you will enjoy your time with the train. So call me, and I'll be glad to get you started as a train room volunteer.